Hello my loves and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be exposing the 5 traits of the genuine divine feminine energy and basically exposing the lies and misconceptions around what genuine authentic feminine energy actually is. Because unfortunately there's really toxic trends, especially like trad wife trends, that are trying to basically create a false narrative of what actual feminine energy is that is extremely man-made. So ironically, what these people are kind of now trying to push is this kind of fake femininity, when that's not what it is at all. So today we're going to be going through 5 traits of genuine feminine energy, so you guys can actually understand what it is, so you don't box yourselves, so you don't mess yourselves up in the future, and so you can genuinely activate it to actually empower yourself. So I'll get straight into it. Number 1 is you embody both soft and strong energy. So basically you are in tune with your light feminine energy, which is the qualities of being empathic, soft, nurturing, loving, appreciating feminine things like that. This can even be like being in tune with nature, liking little animals, all that pink fluffy stuff. That soft girl sort of energy that people like to see. Basically what people try to portray feminine energy to only be, because that's the misconception, is that only feminine energy is soft 24/7, when that is not the case at all. Look at a mother bear protecting her cubs, for example. They're fierce as fuck. So when it comes to actual feminine energy, on the flip side, you're also strong. You're also fierce. So you're in tune with your dark feminine energy. So this looks like setting boundaries, being strong, being driven, being assertive when you have to be, being basically, authentic, not hiding that dark side of yourself. Because when you're suppressing that sort of more wild, unhinged energy, that will depress you because that is feminine energy. Feminine energy is not stable. That's masculine energy, okay? So feminine energy is all about flowing. We have our ups, we have our downs, with our cycle, like the moon. With a good way to understand it is, look at the moon. Feminine energy, we're like the moon, okay? We go through different cycles. We have a slow cycle, okay, throughout the month. With men, their masculine energy, which still needs to be both strong and soft, by the way, is more like the sun. It's just kind of dormant, it's most of the time when they're healthy, stable, grounded. It doesn't have a cycle like we do. With men, they have a 24-hour cycle with their hormones. With women, we have a 28-day cycle like the moon. So with feminine energy, when you're actually tapped into your divine feminine, you have both qualities. So you're in tune with your darkness as well. This can even be like, doing tomboy activities. For me, I like lifting weights in a gym. So this can be like, competing in sports, doing weightlifting, doing like strenuous things. That is all about dark femininity. And it doesn't mean that you're a boy. It doesn't mean that you're a man. Because when you're balanced, that's when you find genuine power. But it's not so much about your hobbies, it's more about your energy. So you need to be strong and to be powerful, you have to embody both light and dark feminine energy. I've done a whole video all about activating your dark feminine energy. So go check that out if you want to learn more, like solely based on that. But again, you can't be too much in your darkness, because you don't want to suppress your softer, heartfelt energy, that empathy, that compassion, that nurturing, what comes natural, of course, to us. But it's really learning how to balance both and not to shut or suppress one or the other. So embrace both, activate both. So number 2 is basically you're not scared to be authentic. So with a divine feminine energy, she doesn't hide herself. You don't box yourself. You don't try to make yourself small. You don't try to fit a little narrative. You're free. You're wild. With the feminine energy, is about being a free spirit. It's about being wild. You're not supposed to be a little 1950s housewife. Like, if you enjoy being like that, cool. that's great for you. But in reality, most women aren't. Most women are supposed to be, you know, one with nature. We're very witchy. This is why most women, you know, like watching dark crime documentaries. We have that darkness within us. But that's really more about just being open-minded. You're in tune with the spiritual side of things. You're in tune with deep psychological meaning. We like to understand, you know, why do people do such dark things? You question things. You seek truth over comfort. You know, the divine feminine energy is a truth seeker. She's always trying to figure out things. She's always trying to question the world. She's trying to question herself. You're not scared of shadows, and that means shadows within yourself and shadows within other people. You're here to be a light, essentially. And quite, you know, mistakenly, people try to suppress women. They try to make out like, oh, you just have to be quiet and talk in a little voice. Like some of the some of the feminine videos, like people who are trying to like, oh, how to activate your feminine. They're telling you you have to basically act like a very quiet little 1950s housewife, be a trad wife, basically be seen but not be heard. It's like, you're meant for more than that. You're not meant just, you know, not all women want to have children, and that's fine as well. Like this whole sort of like misogynistic you know, trad wife trend is coming from men, because men, most men who are not in their divine masculine energy, which I'll be doing a video on, you know, in the future, they don't want wives, they want slaves. And the 1950s housewife really is just another mother, another slave for a man. You know, they're not seeking a genuine counterpart. They're not seeking genuine divine union where you work as a team, where they're allowed, you basically allow you to help the man, where they take your guidance. Because remember, women, we're in tune with the spiritual world. Men are more in tune with the earth, more grounded. So we are naturally born to be oracles, to be, you know, basically giving a lot of guidance. You know, women, we have more wisdom, emotional maturity in general compared to men. This is our gift. This is our strength. Just like with men, they have more physical strength. That's why, you know, they're meant to be more protective physically in the earth realm. So, but with a divine feminine, she acknowledges this. You acknowledge your truth. You acknowledge, you know, and you're not afraid to say it either. A divine feminine is very fierce. She's very assertive. She'll speak when she has to, but she'll hold back when she has to as well. So it's all about having inner wisdom. It's all about having discernment and not being scared to be yourself, to take off that mask. So many women, myself included, for years have to wear a fucking mask just to make men comfortable, just to obey society. You know, you're scared to reveal, oh, your witchiness or your weirdness. You have to always be behaved. It's like, no, you don't have to be like that. And, you know, this is why women for hundreds of years were literally murdered, because they were witches. Really, they were just in tune with their divine feminine energy, and that offended people, mainly men. So, you know, this isn't any hatred towards men, because men, when they're in their divine masculine energy, it's amazing, it's beautiful. But unfortunately, most of them are not. So they'll just want you to be a quiet little housewife, make you believe that your only role in life is to reproduce, is to be a little slave, essentially, to feed him, to give him sex, to give him pleasure, to give him emotional comfort when he wants it. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're not meant for just that. You need to have, you know, a counterpart, a partner who supports you, who gives you energy, and where you can give it back to them. But so with a divine feminine energy, she's very authentic, and you don't wear a mask. You don't make yourself small. You're not materialistic either. You know, you can enjoy the luxuries of the world, but that's not your main focus in life. You know, your main focus in life isn't just to acquire Gucci handbags. Like, you're so much deeper than that. With the divine feminine, you're very much connected to your higher consciousness. You're connected to something that's so much more important, so much more deeper, because you've come here to help guide people, to be a light, to show your love, but also to be fierce and strong when you have to be. So that requires authenticity. You must be authentic. You can't pretend to be something that you're not. You can't make yourself small just to make other people, and men especially, comfortable. You have to be strong. You have to be fierce. And unfortunately, most men cannot handle this energy. So don't box yourself, you know, break free. And really embrace the wild feminine energy that you're supposed to be. And number 3 is you don't overly seek male validation. So basically, you're not a pick-me girl. You stand your ground, you have healthy boundaries, you're not afraid to basically say it how it is, to speak your truth, to be assertive with men when you have to be. You don't chase them. You don't, you know, try to fawn over them, because a lot of women, basically, when a woman is a pick-me girl, she's fawning. It's actually a trauma response, because when you're dysregulated within your nervous system, you are either in fight mode, flight mode, fawn mode, or freeze mode. And the pick-me women, so these are the women that try to be the cool wives who allow their men to, oh, it's okay if he looks at other men, believing stupidly that he's not going to cheat on you, when there's a very high risk that he will if he can't control his sexual energy. These types of women always get hurt. Trust me, I used to be one of them. You can never, ever, ever be a pick-me girl, because you'll always be disrespected, you'll be walked over, you'll be a doormat. The divine feminine energy is not about that. The divine feminine energy is about being fucking strong, empowered. You are your own boss. You open your heart to those who deserve it. You will be the most loving, soft, feminine woman. You know, you give that gift to men that deserve it. Because unfortunately, so many men are demanding that you give your soft, beautiful energy, your feminine energy, which is your love, your sexual, you know, energy as well, to them without them earning it. Because remember, back in the day, men used to work fucking hard to court you for months, sometimes years, just to get your hand in marriage, and then they'll be giving that gifts. Then you'll open your legs to them. But men just just feel like they deserve it instantly, without gaining it, without doing any work for it. And this is what's completely destroyed society. Because time and time again, men are just treating women so disrespectfully. They're not supporting you. They're not being honest with you. They lie to you. They cheat on you. But then they demand respect. And then they demand you keep forgiving them, giving them chances, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you have to allow them to watch porn, to like Instagram models. No, 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 no. All of that is so fucking disrespectful. A woman in a divine feminine energy will not tolerate this. And luckily, I see more and more women now waking up to this. This is why in South Korea, there's the 4B movement, which is now expanding worldwide, which is literally women taking a stand. They're literally saying, look, I'm going to let the whole human race go extinct, because they're refusing to date, marry and reproduce with men, because they're being treated like shit, because they're being abused so much by men. They're literally allowing the human race to go extinct because of this, because men won't wake up. They won't get their shit together. They refuse to be loving towards another woman. So, you know, the 4B movement is rapidly growing, and I completely understand why. It's growing massively to other countries as well. But even I see within Western countries, women are starting to wake up. They're remembering how sacred their energy is. You're remembering how precious your womb is. Because every time you have sex with a man, you're giving away your energy to him. Men feed off your feminine energy. They become energy vampires. So this is why you have to be really careful and cautious with who you allow into your space, who you allow between your legs. You must only give that beautiful energy, that gift, away to men who earn it, to men who do their own shadow work, to men who aren't operating from their ego or darkness or have, you know, perverted agendas. Men who are in their divine masculine energy. They're the ones who deserve it. They're the ones who are beautiful and high vibrational. But unfortunately, Time and time again, women are getting destroyed and their hearts broken because they're giving it to all the wrong people, the wrong men. Women are now even wishing they were lesbians or bisexual, or trying to force themselves to be, because of just how badly they've been treated by men. That's how bad it's getting. But the divine feminine sees this, and this is why she'll shine a light on her man's flaws. So if you have a relationship, she'll basically act like Natiri from Avatar. Now, Natiri in Avatar is a prime, perfect example of a divine feminine woman, because she is fierce, but she's always soft and nurturing. And you'll notice with all divine feminines in movies, they always know how to fight. They are warriors, they are tough, they guide their men, but they're also so graceful, beautiful, feminine as well. Arwen from Lord of the Rings is another good example. So they always have that energy within them. Even Wonder Woman, she's fierce, she seeks the truth, but, you know, she's also so loving, so nurturing. This is what the divine feminine is. You are both powerful, strong, assertive, wise, but you also are very loving, soft, strong, dark, light. And most men, you know, can't handle a woman's intuition. So if a man receives the gift of a divine feminine, you know, energy, it will completely transform their life. And that's what they don't understand. But, you know, men who do this, they have blissful marriages. Like, you see it, it's rare, but you'll see, you know, the type of couples that both do shadow work, who both respect and love one another. You know, the man actually takes on the advice and wisdom from his woman. He has an extremely good life. Because remember, a woman will multiply what you give her. So the more you give to a divine feminine woman, a good woman, obviously, not an immature girl, a good woman, the more you give to her, the more she's going to give it back to you. She's going to multiply that love, that abundance, that support. So, you know, women mirror men. But a woman's intuition is spot on. It's the gifts. So she will see the ego. You know, women are way more emotionally mature than men are. You know, we mature much faster. So this is why, you know, men can always learn so much from a woman. Because, you know, we will shine a light on your shadow. We'll shine a light on your traumas. We'll shine a light on all those things. And men need to understand that, you know, it's a gift. It's not an attack. Like Natiri does with Jake. You know, when they first meet, she's very standoffish. She's very much like, you know, you're a scound, you're a moron, you're this, you're that. But does Jake, like, get defensive? Does he get angry? No, he embraces it. Instead of him getting defensive and angry, he embraces her wisdom. He embraces her advice, her tough love. And he becomes the most powerful fucking member of their whole tribe in the end, because he done that. Because he followed her advice. He becomes the leader of the whole fucking tribe. So, and he literally manifests his whole consciousness into a completely 5D body. He goes from being a crippled man, which is very like, energetically is a good analogy of him being in his ego, because that's how he was living his life. Just drinking, abusing substances, having addictions, being, you know, in a low vibration. But then as soon as he meets Natiri, he takes on her advice. He goes through that whole spiritual awakening. His ego dies. He then becomes the most strongest, powerful Na'vi leader. So his whole life transforms. He manifests living in abundance with a powerful, beautiful woman by his side. So, you know, that whole film is basically showing very powerfully how the divine feminine can help support the divine masculine to grow, to basically deal with his bullshit, his trauma, and then become the divine masculine by her side. And then he is able to protect her, he's able to save her as well. So they work as a team. So it's not about being in competition, it's literally about supporting one another, loving one another. You know, she allows Jake to protect her, she allows him to lead, but he allows her to guide him, without getting defensive, without being, you know, in his ego. Because if he did, if he stayed in his ego, he just, you know, none of that would have happened. He would have completely, you know, destroyed everything. So, you know, take note of this. The divine feminine doesn't seek male validation. She's not a pick-me. She's assertive, but she's loving at the same time. So this leads me on to number 4. And number 4 is basically you are really in tune with your intuition. So you have now basically activated your spiritual side, because a woman that doesn't have her spirituality activated is a lost woman. A woman that is not in tune with her womb, literally, with her guides, with the spirit world, with her third eye being open and activated, you'll be lost. You'll be society's little puppet. You'll be addicted to trashy reality TV. You'll just seek to look like a Kardashian. Your whole life goal will just be to be a footballer's wife. You know what I mean? You'll basically be a product of society. You won't see or realize genuine magic, genuine power, spiritual enlightenment. You'll be trapped in your ego. You'll be trapped in that state of trauma, of victimhood, of being a pick-me girl. And all this will lead to is pain. This will lead to so much pain, so much suffering. You'll end up probably in a very unhappy marriage. You'll end up having children with a man that doesn't love you, appreciate you, who cheats on you. And then, you know, 20, 30 years down the line, when you're in your 40s or 50s, you'll think, what the fuck happened? You won't recognize yourself in the mirror. Like, don't fall for the bullshit standards that society brainwashes you with. You must listen to your guts. You must learn ancient spiritual secrets, occultism. You must activate that witchy, spiritual, healer, oracle side of you. And it doesn't mean you have to full on go down the rabbit hole, but it does mean that you at least listen to your intuition, at least do some sort of meditation, at least be in tune with your cycles, with the moon, with your menstrual cycles, learn about yourself, because society has completely destroyed feminine knowledge. It's destroyed and hidden ancient secrets about divine feminine energy. Remember, we used to live in matriarchal societies. We now live, obviously, in a patriarchal society. This is why all this perversion and porn and rape, you know, is rampant. This is why women get shat on massively, and men as well, but mainly women. So it's very toxic. But back in the day, and remember, when I say patriarchal, I'm not hating on all men. It's, you know, men that are in their very dark ego, primitive sort of energy, not divine masculine men. If we had divine masculine leaders, then this world would just be beautiful. So this is not shitting on men. But back in the day, we had matriarchal societies. You know, throughout ancient Egyptian time periods, there was a timeline of about 2,000 years of peace, of matriarchal women, because women were leading. So they had 2,000 years of peace, no war, no genocide, nothing. Nothing like that, because women were in power. You know, we're less likely to have wars and genocide and killings because women are more empathic in general. We're more in tune with that sort of energy. So we don't want to be sending our sons and children to war, you know, like toxic men will. But so pay attention to that. Don't let a patriarchal society mold you into just being like a sex doll for male gratification, for male pleasure. This doesn't mean you can't make yourself look pretty and wear makeup and feel sexy and be sensual, be erotic. I'm not demonizing sexuality. You can do whatever the fuck you want with all that, but just do it for you. Do it that in a way that serves you, that makes you feel good about yourself. Not in a way that's, you know, degrading. Not in a way where you're doing it out of trauma, out of brainwashing. You know, this is why you must develop your own intuition and really seek genuine enlightenment so you can break free from all these programs. There are so many toxic programs surrounding women, surrounding femininity, surrounding what you are. Even saying, oh, you're past your prime or over the age of 30. Like, that is ridiculous. That's insane. Like, come on, man. When you learn genuine femininity, you realize that older women, the crone years, that's when you're most fucking powerful and wise. Like, my granny, my great-gran, you know, who lived to over 100 years old, she was incredible in her older age. You know, this is why in shaman tribes, you always have the old wise lady to go to. All the tribes people go to her for advice. That's how it should be. So, you know, don't fall for that shit. And understand, you know, when you learn secrets about your menstrual blood, your cycle, it's so empowering. It changes your whole life. But you must activate your intuition. So, you know, I've done videos on this, so go check them out, you know, secrets of your blood and all that sort of thing. But you really need to allow your third eye to be decalcified. I also have a free ebook, so teaching you how to decalcify your third eye, so you can download that completely for free. But when you get in tune with this, it fucking empowers you. And this is why even religion has destroyed it. They've massively suppressed women. You know, this is why in the Christianity, they completely demonized, you know, women and that. They even, you know, lied about certain things. I'll be doing a video exposing that shit. But this is why, obviously, women were murdered for hundreds of years. You know, all the past witches and oracles, the healers, the midwives, the herbalists. You know, all of that was taken from us. So much of that was taken. And this is why now we live in such a sad world, a sad society, because women have been suppressed. But it's starting to wake up again. Women, we've had this inner calling, and this is why, you know, witchcraft and spirituality and all this divine feminine energy is now being like mainstream. This is now, it's becoming more trendy. It's because women are having an awakening. We're remembering, we're seeing it. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about women hating men. This is about us helping each other. Because the patriarchal toxic society also hurts men. Porn creates brain damage in their brain, which causes depression, anxiety, fatigue. It blocks them from manifesting their dreams, their goals. So it's all a weapon. You know, this goes so deep, but this is why you must activate your intuition, listen to your gut, even if it just helps you navigate. You know, women will dream of our partners cheating on us. Your dreams will tell you secrets. You know, always pay attention to your gut, because that is your greatest weapon. And we have evolved to be like this because we're not physically as strong as men. You know, men are obviously more of a threat because they can easily quite kill us if they want to, you know, with their physical strength. It's insane how much stronger they are compared to us. Even if you work out in the gym, you'll never be as strong as a man if he's doing the same, you know, equal sort of exercise to you. But, you know, with women, our greatest weapon is our intuition. So this is why they try to suppress it, and this is why they try to demonize it in religion, in many things. So don't demonize it, activate it. And number 5 is you're very self-aware. So this goes hand in hand of what I was just saying. So basically you'll have a great self-awareness and you do shadow work. Because there's one thing of like, you know, if you're in tune with your spiritual side and then you get into witchcraft and then you do all these things, if you're not operating from the heart, you're still going to shoot yourself in the foot. And this is where you see women doing very satanic things. This is where you see women doing, you know, heavy black magic. You know, they could be strong, they could be powerful, but it's always going to bite you back in the ass. You know, what you give out comes back to you. So understand the laws of karma. Understand, you know, the threefold law. But even if you don't believe in the threefold law, which comes from, you know, Wiccan teachings and stuff, what you give out does come back to you. So you need to understand energy. This is why you need to learn thyself. This is why, you know, great gurus and whatever, you know, philosophers always teach, know thyself. So you're operating from your higher self, your heart, and not from your trauma or your ego. Because a lot of the time, our traumas and our ego will make you think you want something. They'll make you chase something relentlessly when that's not actually what's meant for you. That's the wrong path. that's only going to end up in suffering or failure or whatever. So it's like, that's not meant for you. You're only chasing that because your ego is chasing it, because it's basically being delusional because of past trauma, because of negative programming. So this is why you must do shadow work, so you can trust yourself more. Because many people, they won't really know what to do. They'll be very lost. It doesn't mean you have to know everything, but you need to heal your trauma. You need to make sure that you're not acting from childhood traumas. You're not being anxious or avoidant or this or that, you know, even within relationships and stuff. So you need to really take an honest look at yourself in the mirror. You need to constantly be analyzing yourself from a place of compassion, from a place of love. So, but also from a place of tough love as well. So you don't just fall into like victim mode. And it doesn't mean that, you know, you can't be victim to things. Of course you fucking can, but you need to learn how to bounce back. And this is why we must do as much shadow work as possible. Otherwise, you can really make some like big mistakes. Trust me, been there, done that. But of course, you can learn from these mistakes, but it can really, like, you know, waste time. It can take years sometimes, waste years of your life. So in order to avoid wasting your time, wasting years, or never really fulfilling your potential, you know, do your shadow work. Try to be very honest. Really learn who you are. Learn your blockages. Learn any self-sabotaging tendencies. Question everything. If you feel like you have addictions or this or that, where do they come from? You must know that the only way you're going to be truly in your power is when you're sober, when you're connected to source, to your higher self. Otherwise, you're always going to be clouded. You can't be negatively influenced by others as well. So this is where activating your intuition, this is where doing shadow work is so important. So when you have little demons or people just in a low vibration in your ear trying to say shit to you, you'll see where that's coming from. You'll feel it and you'll be like, no, I'm going to listen to my heart. I'm going to not listen to that advice. You'll see truth way easier. But when you're in your shadow, it is so easy to get negatively influenced, to do mistakes, to hurt yourself, to hurt others as well. And then you get karma for that. So it's like, you know, to avoid chaos, try to do shadow work. And this will be the most painful thing you ever fucking do. It will be so hard, because it can be bringing up a lot of trauma and suppressed emotions that you've like massively put a tight lid on. It can be doing the opposite thing. So if you always run away, it means stop running, face your demons. And if you're always like being a pushover, it means saying no, setting boundaries and walking away from things, people that aren't good for you. You know, if you're an empath, it means stop fixing people all the fucking time. Don't let your empathy override your self-respect. So, you know, this, again, there's a very deep rabbit hole, but with a divine feminine, she's very self-aware. You're always being, you know, honest with yourself. You're always trying to analyze and, you know, figure out certain things, not obsessively, because you need to obviously be present. You need to, you know, everything's about balance, but at the same time, you don't basically let your shadow get the better of you, which really is your negative trauma, your negative programming, your negative side of your ego. Okay, so I'm not completely demonizing the ego, but it's the bad side of it. So analyze it. Really, and the number one thing is looking at your childhood, because most of your shadow will come from childhood trauma, if not all of it, and obviously past life stuff. But your childhood traumas, what you were witness to, what the programs you had, you know, what your parents done around you, and you know how they treated you, is how you grow up. It's the adult you become today. You know, from the ages of 0 to 7, you're basically being hypnotized. You're in a hypnotic brain state. So all these programs are being basically put into your subconscious brain from those ages. So this is why you must learn how to analyze what you've been through, how to, you know, basically discern what you need to work on. And you can't do this when you're coming from a space of ego. So this is why you need to like have an ego death to really understand, right? I need to be honest with myself. I need to look at what I've done, why I act this way, and do the inner work. So if you want help with this, because I do specialize in this, I do offer one-to-one oracle card readings. So basically it's spiritual therapy, guidance from myself, where I really do look at your shadow, your blockages, you know, things that you need to be aware of, what you need to overcome, and how to heal those things. Because sometimes it can be hard kind of knowing what your problem is, trying to seek, you know, the things that could be sabotaging you without you even being aware of. So if you do want that, I do have a 10% sale on. So I will link that down below in the description box per usual. And you can book in a time and date that is good for you. So I also do have a Patreon where I expose dark truths, more occultic knowledge, conspiracies and that sort of stuff. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, then go check that out. I've been exposing quite a lot recently about current events to do with like Ryan Garcia and the whole royal conspiracy. So if you're interested in that, then go check that out. And in the meantime, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell. And if you want to learn more about opening the third eye, I do have a free ebook on how I opened mine, how to decalcify it. So go check that out. Until next time, my loves, I'm sending you so much love, so much light. Stay strong. Ahimsa.